And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We are talking Sergio Perez. Yes, he has finally spoken out after his Red Bull departure and what his future plans may well be, etc., etc. So here we go. Sergio Perez, his breaks his silence after the Red Bull exit in what is his first public appearance. Must be quite sad for Perez. He hasn't yet decided, though, on whether or not to pursue an attempted return to F1. That's one of the main things a lot of people are taking out of this. Now, 4 years to the day after signing with Red Bull, not Red Bull, that's Planet F, Red Bill. Planet F1 has got there, Red Bill. Basically, 4 years to the day, he was confirmed as leaving the Milton Keynes squad last month. 4 years to the day when he signed. The Mexican driver, he endured, well, they say a nightmare, a very disappointing 2024 season where, I think for the first time at Red Bull, he failed to win a race. Got a couple of podiums, though. His efforts just netted him a measly when you think about the fact that the Red Bull for nearly half the season was the best car, especially in the first third was the de facto car. Just 152 points, while his teammate, Max Verstappen, scored 437. No way would you have guessed that in 2021 or 2022 with Sergio Perez's form. And essentially that's what cost him his Red Bull drive, with Red Bull slumping pretty much because of Perez, the third in the championship. Now, Perez expects some responsibility for the issues throughout 2024, but with no clear sign of him breaking out the slump, negotiations began between the two sides when they had that season finale. A lot of people said he should have been gone a lot sooner. There was a lot of craziness because Sergio Perez's contract was renewed in June last year, and people are like, wow, what was that about? So ultimately, they departed ways, with Perez being replaced by Liam Lawson. Now, aside from an immediate statement to confirm his departure from Red Bull, Perez has not spoken out on this split until now. Now, appearing at the press conference in Leon, a town in Mexico, Perez revealed that he plans on taking several months away from the spotlight in order to decide on what his future may be. He said, "My priority is to enjoy myself, to do things I haven't done, to be with my family," he said, as quoted by ESPN. He carried on by saying, "In the next 6 months, I will make a decision on what I want for the next step in my career." So he may not be driving for Red Bull, but he will apparently retain some ties to the Red Bull company by doing show runs, ambassadorial runs on behalf of the Austrian conglomerate. So an F1 comeback, people are suggesting, though, is not entirely off the cards, given his proven track record and his raft of personal sponsorship. And I think it's his personal sponsorship that may all save him, because it is worth quite a lot of money. He's in no hurry, though, to decide on whether he wants to pursue any opportunities. But let's talk about those opportunities, because one possible destination for Perez could be the upcoming Cadillac outfit, which has been given approval in principle to enter 2026. Not Perez obviously going there, but the General Motors brand is set to arrive in Formula One, and the driver of Perez's experience may be attractive. Daniel Ricciardo was initially linked, but Daniel Ricciardo has come out and pretty much said, no, I'm not going there. It's too early to give an answer as to whether I intend to return to Formula One, Perez said on these rumours, and when being asked, he said, "Everything happened quickly. At the end of last season, I didn't expect to leave the team." Yeah, we'll get to that bit in a second. Now, Perez has been under contract with Red Bull until the end of 2026 initially, having signed a 2-year deal in the middle of last year. Leaving Red Bull so suddenly, and let's be fair, what was against many people's expectation, he now intends to be more involved with his young family. He said, "My biggest motivation is now to take my children on a good path and be more present in their lives. I'm excited to be with my family because in F1, you only think about being a better driver, preparing yourself better. You don't have time for anything else." Which I thought, to that end, he's off on holidays apparently, while at the end of January, he's taking his son, Sergio Perez Jr., to a soccer tournament. He said, "My biggest motivation is that I have a soccer tournament with Checo in 3 weeks and we're going to travel around Mexico. My biggest motivation is that we do well in this tournament." So, Sergio, my mouse, I tell you what, my mouse has literally just absolutely died in itself. There's nothing I can do, so I'm going to carry on talking. I mean, Sergio Perez, he came in. He was, if any of you remember, he nearly won the a really early Grand Prix in his rookie year with that amazing Sauber drive, pushing Fernando Alonso to the point where conspiracy theorists stand up. A lot of people suggested, did Sauber slow down Sergio Perez. Did they say to Sergio, yeah, you're going too fast, mate? I don't know. Probably not, but there we go. He didn't win his first race though until 2020, where he won that race. Thanks in no part to George Russell's weekend, race even, absolutely being turned upside down. And it was quite the plot twist. But to be fair to Perez, he did go all the way back to last, and then he won, which was absolutely amazing for Sergio. And that, a lot of people argue that drive was the drive that got him to the Red Bull team. But moving on from the Red Bull team, yes, when Sergio Perez says Max Verstappen has to thank him for that championship, he absolutely does. Because in Abu Dhabi, Hamilton had a nice, comfortable lead. A lead big enough, potentially, even for that tyre change that people keep talking about that he should have done, that he couldn't have done. But had Sergio Perez not held up Lewis Hamilton, I don't think he would not have been able to do that tyre change. So, yeah. So this is what Perez said about being interviewed, about leaving Red Bull towards the end of the year. Listen to this. And he says yes. That contract. So what I find strange, he was absolutely adamant all the way through that he was staying. So what was he being told backstage? Did Red Bull end up pulling the rug underneath him, which I think is really unfair? We all thought he was going to leave. It made sense that he was going to leave for many, obviously including myself. But then what's he saying? Is he just, I've got a contract? It was just really, the whole thing was really, really strange. You can't blame Perez for everything, because what was coming on the Red Bull side for him to say that? He was steadfast. Or was it the fact his lawyers were suggesting he said that? This is Perez's announcement that he was leaving. It is in his native language. 4 years ago, an opportunity came along that would change my life. In a moment of confusion and frustration came an opportunity that would transform my career. That was a win in 2020. Let's be fair, a fantastic win as well. From last. Hand in hand with my first victory, I joined Red Bull, he says. I arrived with the illusion of returning, to the top. It's interesting he says illusion, because he had the chance, and make my flag fly on the podium. It wasn't easy, but with the hard work and determination, results came. We were champions. Mexico sang with our first podium at home. That must have been so lovely. Shame he never won, but it must have been fantastic, that. And of course, we conquered Monaco. Man of the street fighter, Sergio Perez. We built history with our own hands, he says. Today it's time to thank Red Bull and move on. I'm grateful and honoured to have been part of their history, he says. On a personal note, it's time to slow down for the first time in my life, but only for a few corners, until we know what our next journey is. To all of you who have been with me, I thank you always. And no matter how hard your dreams may seem, always dare to believe, which is such a lovely thing. And the best is always yet to come. We will meet again. Never give up. Yeah. Damn straight. Never give up. Anyway, if you made it to the end here and you never gave up on watching this video, a massive thank you. Hit that subscribe button. If you're not subscribed, just by watching this video, though, is more than enough for us. It's absolutely fantastic. If you want to help a bit more, that would be great. Just hit that like button and I'll continue to be forever grateful. Thank you very much and speak to you soon.